Previously on Quest to Meet Gary Vee.
So last night I won a giveaway for one of Gary Vee's NFTs. Fucked up all my tires and everything. Thanks for the many miles. That's so far. We are here at VaynerMedia. Are they not letting people in? Is that? There's nobody here. No, struck out. Share, comment, and tag Gary Vee. Let's get this to him as fast as possible and come back out to New York maybe next week.
What's up, Adam?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Sorry I took up so much of the time.
Oh, don't be sorry at all. That was great.
But I wanted to respect the fact that Adam planned to be here and he had quite an interesting day from what I understand.
Yeah, quite. It was more like 2 days it turned into because, you know, we went down to Pennsylvania. Everything just took so much longer than expected. You know, we were looking for lavalier mics. We're literally 2 minutes away and we passed a place called New York Video and they have lavalier mics. So we wasted just a bunch of time looking for it even though it was just right there. We get there, we get the tats all done, you know, hair tattooed on us.
Wow.
And
That's awesome.
Because Gary called me out, said I wouldn't do it, so... You know, we gotta do it. It just gets done way too late. By the time we get to New York, it was 11:30, so we didn't even have a chance to go to VaynerMedia. This morning, we decided to go there. I didn't think about the weekend, right? It's Memorial Day weekend. So we go to VaynerMedia. The hours say Monday through Friday, 10 to 3, which I was like, oh, that's weird. Like, he's not, like, overworking his people at all during the pandemic. He's like, all right, guys, chill days. We do some content on the outside to intro it, and then we go inside, and, like, we start talking to the security guard, and he's like, ah, man, I don't think anybody's on either one of our properties today. I think everybody's home for the long weekend. I was like, that is a thing. That is a thing. I forgot about that. Like, completely. In the whole mess of my week, like, completely forgot about that.
It's the next segment of the saga. Now that you just got hit with a big obstacle, like, what's your plan to get Gary?
We're giving up and crying. That's it. I'm just kidding. So we finished filming for what is now part 1. We've already planned a trip that we can make the week after that to New York again. It's like part 2 will be when we actually get to meet maybe Team Gary Vee. It's nice to transition into a legal market. Yeah. I'm not gonna worry about that, and even more like on the environmental side, it seems so much less risk because it's like contracts, right? It's not retail where you're a slave to your location and the customers that are seeing you and all that. You just have a contract and it's worth this much money and that's how much you get paid for it, and you determine your wealth basically.
Wait, so environmental stuff, what do you mean? But is it, how does that?
So during when everything was kind of shut down and slow, I just started looking into other applications of hemp besides just clothing. Like, I started with clothing. It was kind of cool. It was like a wave at first of people that were excited, and then people didn't give a fuck. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, so what impact is that really making? Like, it's cool you're getting rid of cotton, which is like, it uses like 25% of the world's pesticides for cotton. And it's like takes up 4 times as much land as hemp and stuff like that, but like that's not large scale enough. That's like not doing enough. So I started looking into heavy metals that hemp pulls out, and there's reports on it pulling cadmium and lead and nickel, and I'm like, okay, so that's pretty cool. What applications does that have? Oh, farmland has a lot of heavy metal and pesticide poisoning. It can pull that out of the soil. So I started looking for like farming applications. And when I did that, I stumbled across a movie called Kiss the Ground. And Kiss the Ground is all about carbon capturing through regenerative farming, which regenerative farming is essentially what I do for growing hemp anyways. Like, I use all organic compounds, I use no pesticides, I use good bacterias, no till, all those type of practices that help build up the biodiversity of your soil. So I've already found out it pulls heavy metals, it pulls pesticides, and then I'm finding reports that it pulls more carbon than any plant. So I'm like, holy shit, that's major.
Yeah.
one of my business advisors comes to me, because I'm just throwing these ideas at him. I'm like, I don't know where my brain's going with this, but I know it can do something.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, let me talk around. So he talks to his buddy, who's the chief of staff for the mayor, which is like the vice president essentially for the mayor. And he was like, hey, so apparently the dump has some really bad chemicals in it called PFAS. And I was like, PFAS? What the hell is that? And he's explaining it to me like it's the stuff that makes non-stick cookware and waterproofing and firefighting foam and all this stuff that's really, really bad for the environment and leaches into the environment and ends up in our bloodstream. And my brain just starts ticking. And I'm like, okay, so what does hemp do for PFAS then? And it took so much combing the internet, because the United States hasn't done any studies on it. I bought studies from people in Australia and in the UK, and they're doing studies on pulling PFAS not out of the soil, but out of the runoff water from the dumps. Because what happens is the dumps break down, and then when it breaks down, it pushes out, and they have water that comes out and everything. So that water runs out, seeps into the soil, which then goes down to the water table and goes into all of our groundwater. And that's how it gets into our bloodstreams. So the hemp proteins are really good for pulling PFAS out of the actual water. I spent months searching for somebody that's like doing a study on pulling PFAS out of the soil. And I found one professor in the United States who's doing it, and he's like partnering up with us, where we wrote a proposal and we're pitching the dump now to grow hemp on the dump. And so essentially we're gonna, it's a whole system approach, right? The hemp is gonna pull the bad shit out through the roots into the plant. We're gonna grind that up, soak up more bad shit in the water, the rest of the PFAS and everything, and then we're gonna build it into hempcrete. And I'll get more into hempcrete in a second, but with that approach, by growing, we're gonna put carbon back into the soil. When you put carbon into the soil, you increase the biodiversity and life within your soil. When you do that, the soil breaks down quicker, because things are constantly eating at it, and it's breaking down, breaking down, breaking down. That's why the dump isn't breaking down, because they just cap it off with a layer of dirt and grass and leave it. Oh, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
And it just slowly breaks down. It's not composting.
Yeah.
And if you put bacterias and everything in it, you can get it to be basically a large compost pile. So we're sucking carbon into it and having the carbon stored in the soil. What comes off of a dump? Methane gas, which is a CO2 emission. You pull that right back into the soil and trap it safely in there while you're building your life, and it's eating it and breaking it down.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to be able to grow hemp to pull the nasty chemicals and break down the dump quicker. And if I could prove out that concept, I feel like all it takes is a little bit of money, and that just explodes.
Yeah.
Explodes, because the impact that has is insanity. There's 13,000 dumps, and 10,000 of them are closed because of contamination, because they're too big, because of it's fucking crazy, honestly. Like I don't know. I didn't even think about how many dumps there were until one of my business advisors asked me. And when I looked it up, it was kind of gross.
Yeah.
Last time y'all saw us all strike out. This time, I don't think we're going to be so unlucky. I think at least Team Gary Vee is going to be there, and maybe the man himself. We'll see. We brought our good friends with us from FLKR LYTR. They're going to drop some presents off. So I think with some presents and our presence, we're going to make an impact.
You can't just walk into the building and say, you know what, I'm here to see Vayner.
Yeah.
So it's, we have to just sort of like ask you to just make an appointment.
Yeah.
You know, for you to go up to see Vayner.
Makes sense.
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
I'm telling you, bro, we gotta go to the other. Went there last time, and we just went in with the camera, and there was just like a guy sitting there, and he would have let us in, but
Nobody was there. This has been enlightening and disappointing all at the same time.
You know what? There's still hope. And also, you have a good energy.
Yeah, thank
so
you.
where there's good energy, what's going to happen? There's only one place for it to go. It's to go
Good
up.
things, yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
you have good energy. So,
Good energy brings good things, right?
Exactly. Good things, good people, good era, good boy, good vibes, you know?
Hell yeah.
Good stuff.
That'd be funny if it was the same security guard too. I messaged Tyler, who's Gary Vee's right-hand man for Team Gary Vee, waiting to hear back from him, fingers crossed. But while we're waiting, we're gonna go to the other VaynerMedia location because last time we were able to just walk right in and we just got bad luck of nobody being there. Don't think we're gonna have that issue today. New York is hustling and bustling. Everybody seems like they're at work again, so wish us luck. 20-minute drive to the other VaynerX office. Let's go do the damn thing. So because of the VeeFriends community that we built up like on Clubhouse and Discord, now I know like 3 people recently that I've gotten hired at Vayner. That's who I messaged. And they were like, you need to talk to Tyler, who's Gary's right-hand man, and I'm waiting for another dude that just got hired back, and he's like, go on the Discord right now. There's like 180,000 people in this. If I can get everybody in that Discord to just tag Gary Vee, there's no way he's not gonna notice. We've already done this with him before. Let me just break the news to everybody. People are tagging Zane and Gary. This man deserves to get in. Gary answered in the Discord.